I have got the paint touched up in this house, and it just took a little dab here and a little dab there, but it looks really good, and I'm not going to do another bit of paint to it. Well, I might if I see something I don't like, but it looks good. Remember here, that Mod Podge is dry. That is a nice clean green line, not chipped up anymore. I've been looking forward to this all day. I'm ready to take my hammer and try to straighten everything out and see if we can get this house back straight. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I've got my piece of hardwood floor down here. This is just left over from putting hardwood floor in our living room. And this is my rubber hammer. It looks like metal, but it's hard rubber. And I've also got something I have not used before. I'm going to have to hammer like right here and right here. This is a dip that goes down right in there. And we're going to, I don't know if we'll be able to hammer that or not. We're going to try. But I've also brought a towel in here to protect my paint, especially there along that edge that I just painted. We're going to try to put this on here like this and then hammer along along there and see if we can get that flattened. I don't know if we'll be able to or if we'll have to do something else. We'll give it a try. I didn't do any harm, but you can see it's still not as flat as I'd like. What I'd like to do is turn it over and hammer it from the other way. I don't know, maybe if I put it on the edge of the table upside down, I might give that a try. All right, I know you can't see, but I've got this house upside down, so the main part of the house is hanging down here, but it's on the corner of my table, and I've got my hardwood under there, and here's my bump, so let me try to hammer it this way and see how it goes. That is much better. I think it pretty well took that bump out of here. The only thing is this corner is still bent up a little, but I think I can hammer down that way, and I think that should straighten that out. Got my hardwood under there. Let's protect it with the towel, and then we'll hammer that corner and see how it goes. That is still not down flat. I have got my flat, blunt-nosed pliers here, and I've got those covered up the score lines along there to help protect my paint. I'm just going to grab a hold of that with my pliers and see if I can twist that down a little bit. I don't know that that's perfect, but it's much better than it was. So my next problem is over here on this corner, right there. That needs to be bent out that way, and I think I'm probably going to have to use those pliers to do that. I don't think I'm going to be able to get my board or my hammer set up to do it with the board and hammer. I think we'll just grab a hold of that and see if we can twist it back, like to the left a little. I think I can almost take my hands, and I'm pushing with this hand that way, and I'm going to take this hand and push that way and see if I can kind of get that wall to uncurl just a little bit. Just kind of use my hands and put that back into shape. That looks pretty good. Now I really didn't want to take this house apart anymore, but I think to get this to bend back that way and this, the base to come back this way to that way, I think I'm going to have to unloosen this one tab so that I can get that wall bent. Now that I've loosened that tab, I'm going to see if I can just get this wall to bend back a little bit the way it's supposed to be. Oh, it's so close. It's so close. All right, that wall's about right, but down here, this edge, this it's attached to the base. This is going to have to move that way, the direction my thumb's pointing. And I'm going to use my pliers. I'm going to grab hold of it with my pliers and give that a try. I think that did it. That piece and that piece both look really good now. Okay, I see another spot over clear on this right-hand side that needs straightening. Let me get it in camera view so you can look at it. Okay, I'm talking right here. Now, it'd be a possibility to lay it down, try to lay it flat on this side and hammer down there. But I think I'm going to try the pliers and also my fingers and just see if we can get that bent over just a little bit. Well, you know, I had to try laying it down, or I've got to lay it down now. That bump is right here at the end of my finger, and I've got my new little hammer. It's got a nylon end on it that somebody recently pointed out to me. This has been very handy. I got it on Amazon. I'm just going to tap that a few times right there. That is quite a bit better, but this corner right here needs to come down. Again, I think I'll try my pliers, just see if we can get it twisted down. It's kind of like that other corner, the corner over on the left. I think we're going to have to take this one off, this tab out, so that I can get this twisted back, and get the base of this twisted forward a little bit. That is a lot better. I'm just going to push that tab back down now because I think it's going to need it for stability. All right, so this wall here is just bowed. The top of it is bowed to the left. So I'm going to grab that and use my hands and see if I can just get him bent back a lot straighter than he is. That is pretty good. The only thing I've got left on this part of the house is up here. This knob here is, I'm sure you can't see, but the very top of that is bent in up here at the very top. So again, I may have to try to lay it down flat and pound that out. We'll give it a try. I've got it laid down flat. I'm going to cover it with a towel, and I'm just going to hammer around that area, probably with my big rubber hammer. That worked really, really well. I'm going to try to turn it so you can see that that's a lot straighter than it was. I think that's as straight as it's going to get. Just not too bad. Remember, this house is like 75 years old, so it's just not too bad at all. I think it's key to get these as straight as you can on this house for the stability, because remember I said they're just not quite as strong because that's not a rolled edge, it's just folded flat. Okay, I've got one more piece to straighten out. Let me get it out. So the interesting thing about this is probably the worst piece as far as being bent. And I think it's the one that's going to be the easiest to straighten because I've got it out of the house. I can lay it down here flat, put it on my hardwood. In fact, I'll probably start with turning it upside down and hammer it on this side first so I don't damage any of my paint. So let's get that. Look at how bowed that is along there. I'm going to get my hardwood out right now and show you. And look at that. You can see right through there. So get my hammer out and I'll just hammer away. Now the technique on hammering is I start gentle and then I hit harder, harder, harder until I get it where I want it to be. That's a lot better. You can see that lays down flat on the board here, and it does on this side too. But what it kind of bows in the middle. See what I'm saying? If I hold it flat like that, then that side bows up. That tells me this is going to have to be hammered the other way. So I'm going to turn it over like this. And then you'll see what I mean. See how there's that gap along there, right there in the middle. It's flush over on this end, and it's flush on that end, but it's bowed up in the middle. Now, since this is a painted surface, I'll probably get my towel out so I can hammer. And remember, I focus my hits here along the edge. I try not to hammer. I seldom hammer out here in the middle of the floor. You can tend to get dings out there then, but you generally won't if you do it along here on the edge. You know, I think I got it. See, look how flat that lays along that board, and pretty well all the way along there. I think that's gonna do it. I don't think the back of it was warped. I think it was that front part. All right, next thing I'm gonna do is photograph it. After I photograph it, I'm gonna come back and we will polish it and then put it together. We're getting really close. So, in typical slightly forgetful grandma fashion, I have forgotten to double check my roof to see if it needs any paint touch up. And there's a little spot here that's got some rust on it, and a little bit over here. And then this is where the chimney goes, but I think, I don't always keep those chimneys on, so I think I'll touch up that little bit too. And the other thing is, there's a little bit of a bend here, right over here, that's going to need to be, probably just have the pliers do a little straightening there. If I look at it from this side, you can see how that's kind of splayed out where it shouldn't be. And over here too, it's a little bit splayed out. Now the point of bending this back into shape, you want to get it as close to the original shape as you can, because that's how it was manufactured and that's how it will go together the very best. So I'm just going to get some blue paint touched out, mixed up, touched up, and do those little spots. I'm also going to do, and I don't know if you can see here on the floor in the kitchen, right here, this color looks good in real life, but when I did my picture of that floor, that paint color was off a little bit. And remember, some people are going to use these floors, pictures of these floors, as overlays in their house. So I want that to look better on the photo. So I'm going to redo this khaki stripe, and I've laid down some blue tape there so it'll make a nice sharp line there. This is the other section of roof, the bigger section, and it also has a little bit around the chimney here and maybe a few other little spots. I'm just going to put a little tiny paint on those, and I'm going to reshape this a little bit. Right here, this needs bent in. This is a little bit warbly shaped. We'll get that with my pliers. And down here, this side is splayed out. This edge is splayed out. So we'll use our pliers and get that back up into shape. I have touched up the paint on both sides of this roof, and they both look really good, and that was easy to do. I just mixed up a little of this light colored paint right here, and I don't know if you remember right there where that chimney was. It was kind of rusted around there. I just touched up those little spots, and it just looks really good. So this one looks good, and the other part of the roof looks good also. There it is, and I took my pliers around the edge and straightened those out, so it should be back to the original shape. So that looks awesome. Now also, I am the crazy lady, I don't know if you know this, but I'm the crazy lady that takes my chimneys, if I have an original chimney, and I flatten it out, smash it out, open it up, flatten it out, and then I take pictures of it. Then I'll fold it back together and put my chimney back on my house. But that way, if I've got a photo of that, other people can print that on shiny photography paper, just cut it out and fold it together and have a replacement chimney for their houses. Because guess what? A lot of times these chimneys are missing. So there's my flattened chimney. There is something interesting about this chimney I've never seen before. It's actually 4 pieces. This is one, this is a piece, this is a piece, and this is a piece. But I just flattened it out and made it one for the convenience of the next person that's going to print that in and make a replacement. But if you look on this side, you can see those little tabs. Now in the replacement, you won't have to assemble it that way. You'll just have to fold it together and put this end, glue it back over to this side, and it'll be ready to go. The other thing I did is I did a color correction on this again. In real life it looked good, but on the photo this stripe looked too light. And even on this video it looks a little light, but now I've rephotographed it, and on the photo it looks good. It looks good in real life and on the photo. So I'm going to call that good. All right, I'm ready to polish this house, and I have got my new bottle of New Finish once a year car polish. My other bottle, I used it all up. So I'm ready to polish this, and I'm going to do it a little different tonight. I'm going to take this one piece and I'm going to polish it in real time. After you wipe this on, I wipe it on with a paper towel, then you let it dry to a haze, and then you come back and wipe it off, and I use a microfiber cloth when I wipe it off. But I'm going to do this in real time, and just that one piece, I'm going to do the whole house off camera, but I want you to see how easy this is really to put on and take off. So we're going to do it in real time rather than fast motion. So I like to give it a nice shake because you don't know how long it's been sitting around, especially since I just got this in the mail. And then I'm just going to squirt a little on. Let's see if it's got, yep, it's got a little seal in there. Take that off. As always, I like to put the liquid right on my cloth rather than applying any liquid straight to the house. Just put a little dollop on there. I'll spread it around. Wipe it on. And let it dry to a haze, and then we'll come back and wipe it off. I'm going to go ahead and do both sides since I've got this piece in my hand. All right, we'll come back in a few minutes and we'll wipe it off. Okay, now I have let this dry to a haze, and during that time I have put that polish on every surface of this house, but only this one am I going to clean off in real time so you can see how quick it is. Now I'm using a microfiber cloth, and it just rubs off just that easy. And when you have your house apart, you can turn it sideways in the light, and it can give you kind of an idea if you're getting it all off or not. I'm sure you guys can't see, but it just gives you an idea if you're getting it all. Now this will also remove if you have any like little streaks from cleaning. It'll take that off too. So it's just a really nice way to finish up your house, and I think it helps protect it too. I mean, I don't have any knowledge of that because, it's going to take years before I know the answer to that. But I feel like that will do that. And I wanted to show you how that now it will reflect that light because it's been cleaned and polished. So when I do that, when I speed up the video, you don't always get an appreciation of how much shine you get from this product. There are other products that work well too. I showed one in my last video. It was that like a can of car polish that came in a can with a little applicator. That worked well too. This one I can tell you rubs off a little easier, a little faster. Well, that's important to me. This is the inside of the bedroom, the nursery I should say. It's getting some shine to it too. This had a little bit of paint touch up, not much. It had some crayon marks on the wall, and when I washed the crayon marks off, underneath this yellow part of the wall was overly white, and you maybe can still see there's a few spots where it's a little whiter. Well, that's where I wiped that crayon off. That crayon must have protected that wall. But here's a spot where you probably can't tell, but I touched that light white line up just a little bit to make it a little less noticeable. But see, it just takes a minute or two. Of course, I've done the whole house, so I'm going to have to buff the whole house. You don't really buff it. You have to wipe that polish off from the whole house. So that'll take me a few minutes, and I'll do that off camera. Then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. I'll show you a couple more of the walls, how shiny they are, especially compared to how they were at the start. All right, so this one is also nice and shiny, although you might be able to see there's that few spots where I'd had a little paint on there. But look how shiny it is. Now somebody asked me, I thought this was an excellent question, asked me recently, when I put that polish on and wipe it off, does it damage the areas that I've touched up with paint? No, it doesn't, because you don't use that much liquid and you don't rub that hard and it doesn't stay wet very long. So no, it does not damage those spots where I've touched up the paint. All right, I'm going to get it all wiped off, and then I'm going to come back and show you a few more of these pieces. I've got that haze wiped off all of these now, so just thought I'd show you the shine that we've picked up. Look how pretty that is. I'm just delighted with this house. The graphics are so cute in it, and it's really cleaned up nice. Remember how dirty it was? Look at there. Now I will say, I noticed this time that I had not seen before, but a few of the spots I touched up with paint, and here's an example. When I put that, when that dried to a haze, that left a little bit of a lighter spot. I just fixed that by going over that with a very, very damp paper towel to wipe a little bit of that. Apparently that polish left a little bit of a haze there that was hard to get off. But each piece looks lovely, and let me even show you this big part. And the floor, there's a little shine on the walls now. You probably can't see that, but the floor's got a little shine to it. Let's see if we can get that reflection to pick up on there. Look at there. Remember how dirty that was? So it's come out very nice. And as I said before, I've got this all photographed. There's another step I still need to do, and I'll do off camera, but I need to, now this piece didn't come out quite as shiny, but it's certainly better than it was. It does have some shine to it. You can see that reflection come off of there. I measure all these pieces and keep a record of that to go along with the pictures that I took. So let me get these measured, and then we'll be ready to put it together. I'm ready to put it together. So I'm going to put this one in first, this wall. Then I will do the floor here across, and then I'll put the upstairs rooms in, and then we'll put the roof on. Now I think I'll do this off camera because this goes together just exactly like a Marks. It's got, as I recall anyway, it's got these tabs that stick up. We put them in there, and as you remember, I won't push down all the tabs tight. I'll push down enough to keep it sturdy. All right, friends, I have it together and it looks really good. This floor is just nearly perfectly straight, not too bad at all. I'm going to take this downstairs and put it on my dining room table where the light's a lot better so we can take a better look at it with those big, beautiful, with these windows on the side. That will really let the light in. You're going to really enjoy that. So I will do that, but I am done. Now, I have not put my chimney back together. I just have to fold it back into a square, and then it'll go up here on the top. Otherwise it's done, and it is beautiful. Now I do want to caution you a couple of things I've learned. This house, first of all, when I took it apart, those pieces I took out, they were a little harder to get apart than some of the other houses I've done in the past. And I don't know, I thought that was unique maybe to this particular house, that maybe the tabs were curled or whatever. But when I put it together, it was the same thing. And you know how I've been not putting it together tight and not bending down all the tabs? Well, this house I did. I had to bend them all down tight because it was just kind of hard to get it together. So if I sell this house, I don't intend to. I intend to keep it in my collection until I ever have to downsize. But I would advise you to think twice about buying one of these unassembled, or trying to unassemble one yourself, or trying to ship it unassembled, or trying to put one together. It was a little bit of a booger, but it certainly has come out to be a beautiful, beautiful house, and I am in love with it. Okay, I'll take it downstairs so next time you see it, you will see it in a little bit better light. And thanks so much for joining me. As always, you've got a friend here in Iowa and a lot of friends in our Facebook group, so I hope you will join us. And thank you for being on this journey with me. And if you would, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.